Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we return to the search for Zerta Trion in Skybound's Void Rivals number 16. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2025, and this is episode 426 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that will cut you in half. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
That actually makes me a little sad, Charles, being cut in half. Oh. Hi, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Is that a threat? Let's talk Transformers.
It's just a flesh wound. You'll be okay. As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to support us and contribute to the show. We really appreciate it. If you would like to become a Donatron, if you're not one already, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, and that's where you can sign up. Of course, you get, as a Donatron, you get some bonus perks. You get to watch us record the show live on Sundays. You get automatically entered into all our contests, and you get bonus content, including our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. That's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants down there at the bottom, all the way at the bottom. And we've got 14 episodes of the Daryl and Dr. Pants going through their biggest bots in their collections. That's all available on our Patreon page. So if you are a Donatron, you will have automatic access to those episodes. And more are coming this year at some point. We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. That is done by our good friend and former editor, Mike, who is on the show, also occasional co-host. So he wears lots of hats, but he does a lot. He puts a lot of effort into making cool scenarios for the Transformers characters who have to role play in Empire of Rust. We've got 130 episodes of that podcast available. You can go to transmissionspodcast.com/rust to get all the episodes there. And it's on hiatus for right now, but we'll be back in just a couple of weeks in February. So you can catch up right now and then jump back into episode 131 coming very soon. So take a listen to that. transmissionspodcast.com/rust. We've still got copies of our exclusive Skybound Transformers #1 comic we commissioned with art by EJ Sue. You can pick that up at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And our Toy Hacks promo code for the month of January is active, so use that code TM2025 to get 15% off all your orders at toyhacks.com. Again, that code is TM2025. So that will work until the end of January, and you will get that 15% discount for every time you make a purchase. Okay, let's get into the show, and we are going to jump right into our comic review.
All right, and this week we are looking at Void Rivals number 16. This is written by Robert Kirkman, art by Lorenzo De Felici, colors by Patricio Del Pesce, letters by Russ Wooten, editors Ben Abernathy. The book starts as the Cobra-La bioship has docked inside Skuxxoid's rockeroid. Skuxxoid looks at the ship and doesn't know if it's edible, intelligent, or exactly what he's going to do with it or how he can sell it. Suddenly, the mouth opens up, and the Cobra-La Royal Guard and Pythona leap out and attack. Skuxxoid holds his own for a while, and even severely damages one of the Royal Guard, Acronis's, his armor. Some of the Guard tend to him while Pythona continues the attack, and Skuxxoid is able to use the rockeroid itself, and a claw slams her out of the way. The rest of the Guard then swarms Skuxxoid, and one of them bisected him with their sword. Pythona commends them for the kill, And one of the guard wants to stay with Acronis as he dies, but Pythona wants to get off of this metallic place. Another one says that they should bring him. He might still recover, but Pythona shoots that down too. She orders that if they have pity on him, they should have mercy and end his life now, and then they'll leave. And that one looks at her dagger, but it's not clear what choice she made. And as we see the bioship leaving, no one is there to see Acronis move a single finger. Deep within the Sacred Ring, Solia is standing before the reactivated Vector Theta, a supercomputer. It demands to know why it's been reactivated, and she says that she was given this key. No one told her it activated anything. She didn't know what she was doing, but she was told the key would lead her to Zerta, and she slowly spits out the name Trion. The computer responds that she just needs to follow her current path, and Zerta Trion will be at the end of it. She's not very satisfied with this response, but Vector Theta says that it's given her everything she asked for and tells her to leave. She removes the key and the computer powers down once again. On the surface in Agoria, Derek and Ellender are in a secure room where they can talk freely. Derek demands to know how long Ellender's been working with the Zertonians, and Ellender says that he's been working with them for quite a while, longer than he's been alive. But he's lost contact. With the data packet that Derek had brought back, he was able to send a short signal, but he's now more excited because of Derek's position with his father. Derek's not sure what good that will do. He's a good pilot, but his father doesn't think much more of him than that. And then Derek asks if he and the others are not afraid of Goliath. Ellender has no idea what that is, but then they're interrupted by Doolin and his guards. Doolin calls the two cowards and traitors and orders them captured. Back inside the ring, Solia and Handroid are making their way through the dark again. The key is no longer giving off light, and Handroid is questioning the path that they're on. Handroid wants to go back to Vector Theta to see if it can interface with the supercomputer, but Solia says that she's a keeper of the light of Zerta, and this is her trial. She'll continue on this path until the end, and then she runs into a wall, literally. Android suggests that they climb, but then knows that, she's already doing that. Once she makes her way to the top, she carefully walks as the ground's uneven, and then she finds where it ends. And as she gets ready to jump down again, she looks down and she sees a giant face. And then the eyes open up and it says, "I still function. To be continued." So this book was fairly enjoyable, but we got a lot of mysteries. I'm kind of sad to see Skuxxoid go. I'm wondering if there's a way that he does survive this, but who knows? I don't know really much about his alien physiology, but we do have that, what was his name? Acronis there that is apparently still alive. So interesting thing there. And then when they took off his helmet, at first I was thinking he was one of the, either the Zertonians or, Agorians. He looks like, just the face itself looked like those other, species. I don't know if that's just because of the artist, the way they draw faces or what, but it could be that they're all related. Maybe the Cobra-La people are also descendants from the same Zerta Trion thing. I don't know. But the thing that was really interesting to me was the Solia, underground thing, the Vector, what was it? Vector
Theta.
Vector Theta. I mean, it's you get the key to Vector Sigma and that imagery and a new take on that, but it was very not satisfying with the brief answer. But you don't really introduce that and not come back to it later. But then we have the face, and I'm assuming that is Zerta Trion. And it resembled to me the whole like last Autobot face. It kind of had that um, that imagery in terms of just a giant face, and then the whole "I still function" line from Megatron. So lots of kind of homages there. But I don't know. I enjoyed the book, but my biggest complaint with this entire series has been that just slow moving. I don't know. It's just the Robert Kirkman's style of storytelling. I just would prefer to have bigger chunks or more things happening. Dr. Pants, let's go to you. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I'm all in on Void Rivals. I really enjoy this book. I enjoy this series as a whole because I love a good space opera. I think, I mean, I kind of agree with you that it feels slow moving, but at the same time, there's multiple story threads all going on at once. So we're like this book, we've got 3 different threads. And I think we got some pretty big moments in all 3 of them. I mean, we got Cobra-La who's there, and Skuxxoid's dead. And Skuxxoid, while maybe not a main character, has been a pretty big recurring character through the series, and now he's gone. And also, it was interesting to see him in the series as, Transformers fans, we recognize him, and it was kind of a cool, like, deep cut moment. I was a little sad to see him die, but it was, that whole fight scene was really cool. It was brutal. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah. It felt like we had more story for Skuxxoid because they had mentioned the whole thing with his family. But then we have none of the backstory, like what actually happened and stuff. And now, we're not going to get that.
But maybe we will, because maybe with the Rockroid like bending to his will and everything, maybe there's some kind of like he's bisected. But let's face it, most of us here are Star Wars fans. When has bisecting someone finished them off for good?
Yeah.
That's a flesh wound, as Charles said. It's a flesh wound. The Zerta Trion Vector Theta storyline is, of course, really interesting because, again, as Transformers fans, we're like, oh, okay, so they're going to tie all of this Sacred Ring stuff into Transformers. And we didn't get a lot. I'm really weirded out by the Vector Theta thing, that it was just like, it was basically like, why'd you wake me up? All right, it's over there. Leave me alone.
You're already going the right direction.
Yeah, you're going the right direction. So why did you wake me up? I'm good. Go. And as you said, I think we're going to see more of it, and it'll get used more. But then there's also this. I am thoroughly interested in the other story with Derek and everything, where he knows that the 2 races are the same and they should be working together, but the leadership on both has to play them against each other for a war for some reason, and we don't know. And that to me is very interesting. I love the political corruption and there being some deep-seated something that's been going on for so long for why they have to be at war. And I want to know what it is. I'm really, really interested in that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it feels slow-moving and feels like we didn't move along, but at the same time, I think we did, because, man, oh man, Zerta Trion, just finding them, and who knows what's going to happen with that, especially with them being a Titan. I mean, they look like they could be almost like a Titan.
Could they be the rings themselves?
Could be a part of the rings themselves, because
like a Unicron.
Possibly, because I mean, we know that the people who live on the sacred rings are small compared to Cybertronians, but when we see Salila with Zerta Trion, like, no, Zerta's big compared to the other ones. So I am just, I am curious. I'm curious to see where this is going and how it's all going to tie in. And you got me. Also, I mean, I've been picking up the trades, and I think reading them as a trade is really, really good. And the same thing happened with the second phase with IDW when they redid Transformers, and I was all in on that, but that moved slowly too. I'm all here for
it would just read better as a trade.
It would. And I don't mind the slow burn. It's fine. But I like this a lot. My only complaint with this whole series, and I've said it again and again, is a little bit with the artwork. And it's with the more humanoid characters. I feel like there's a lot of inconsistency with the faces. Yeah. And I don't know if it's the artists can't draw faces or just like it's part of their style. But there are times, like, if you get too many of them in the same room, you can't identify them because the faces change so much. How are you supposed to keep track of who's who?
Yeah.
But that's probably my only complaint. And I love the use of color too. Every storyline felt like it had its own color palette going on. That was very nice.
Yeah. All right, Daryl, let's go to you next. What were your thoughts on the book?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It was a real slow mover. I don't think we really needed, a real long, journey through the darkness. It could have been done within a page.
Yeah, it probably, where it ends up, it has to line up with other things happening. So you have to pad this out.
I mean, a whole lot could have been sped up in this, right? Like, did there need to be an argument between Saleya and the Handroid, right? Like, I also was a little sad to see the Skuxxoid go. Although maybe he's not gone. I don't know.
I feel like we're all on Team Skuxxoid.
Yeah, he's just he's a misunderstood character. He's just a sad sack bear, trying to produce for his non-existent family at this point. I mean, there really wasn't a lot that happened in the book, The big character reveal at the end. Is it the
Zerta
Prime
Trion?
or whatever that she's looking for? Prima?
Zerta Trion.
Zerta Trion, sure. I have no idea. It's a very generic looking face, I wasn't overly impressed with this book. A lot of nothing happened in this particular issue. So, yeah, not a real huge fan of this one.
Yeah, I think in the letter section, Kirkman actually did mention his, the pacing, and it's done deliberately. It's just so. I think you guys mentioned with Walking Dead, it was the same thing. So.
Yeah, it's just his style.
Yeah. All right, Charles, what were your thoughts on the book?
Pretty much in line with everyone else's. I did like the Cobra-La 2-page spread. I thought that was a nice callback to G.I. Joe the movie. It's interesting. I'm still hung up on the Cobra-La has faster than light space travel, apparently, with organic thingies and space armor, even though they haven't demonstrated any kind of. If they have spacefaring technology, why have they not taken over the Earth? I mean, I've talked about this before, so it's not a new complaint.
It's because it's spacefaring travel, Charles, not Earthfaring travels.
All right, I think if you've solved faster than light travel, you've got some advanced technology where you can probably take over. Your energy needs are probably satisfied. You can probably take over wherever you need to, but I don't know. Yeah, I was sad to see the Skuxxoid go. It was rather abrupt, although I mean, it was surprising, but I'm glad. I that's good for the book not being predictable. So I didn't expect the Skuxxoid to be gone this quickly. It's clear the Cobra-La folks are not going to negotiate or ask questions. So, it's it had to end with either them getting killed or captured or him getting killed. So I guess that's reasonable. Although his insides looked rather completely liquidized or whatever. Maybe he's like some kind of rock creature that can just grow new legs or something. I don't know. I guess we'll see. And then whatever was going on with Arconius, maybe that guy will come back to life and take over the ship for something. I don't know. I did like the Zerta Trion reveal, so I'm still curious about who or what Zerta Trion is, but she looks like a Cybertronian, so it's interesting to see that Zerta that they worship, the Zertonians worship, is actually a Cybertronian. So not a Quintesson. I thought it could have been a Quintesson when we first started the series, but to see it's a Cybertronian is interesting. So I did like that reveal. But yeah, I mean, the pace is rather slow, so hopefully we'll get more info next issue about what's going on with Zerta Trion. And Derek, I thought, Derek can't catch a break. He keeps going from one bad situation to another. I'm like, where's Hot Rod and Springer? They're just doing their own thing. They're not even paying attention to what's going on with Derek while they're figuring stuff out. So hopefully they'll break him out or whatever.
You probably could have had like a little bit less of the underground storyline and had like a page with Hot Rod and Springer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was. This is a step in the right direction. I'm still enjoying Void Rivals. So, yep.
Cool. All right. Well, that's our review for this week, and I think we don't have another comic in the next week or so. So
we have another voice for our review, don't we?
No, I went through. Oh, we do. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Yeah, we do. We were contacted earlier today by Ant from tfu.info. And he asked when we were going to talk about this episode or this issue of Void Rivals. I'm like, tonight. So he had some theories and he wanted to send in some feedback. So
hello, Transmissions friends. It's your buddy, Anthony Brucali from tfu.info and Transformers University. Just wanted to check in after reading Void Rivals number 16. I really want to talk about the last page. The face of Zerta Trion and the phrase, "I still function," clearly being a reference to Megatron in the original Transformers 1986 film. I feel like a big chunk of Void Rivals has been hinting at this the entire time, that this is a very long game at 16 issues and counting. Reference to G1 Megatron. And let me explain why. I feel like Zerta or Zertonia, whatever the planet is called, is tied to Megatron and tied to his reappearance at some point beyond what is going on in the other books. In Megatron's original G1 tech spec has this one sentence: can link up interdimensionally to a black hole and draw antimatter from it for use as a weapon. And then from his Marvel G1 profile in Transformers Universe, Megatron can use his internal circuitry to connect the cannon interdimensionally with a black hole, where it could draw on antimatter as its power source. Clearly, for me at least, this has all been a slow drip to Megatron's fusion cannon and it being powered by the black hole that sits in the middle of this book, Void Rivals. So that's my thought. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. And one last thing, if you need more episodes of I Like Big Bots, I know Daryl's been a bit behind, but Daryl, the AI version of Daryl that I have, can happily host a few episodes if you need. Till then, talk to you soon. See ya.
all right.
Hey, that's a good option. Keep that option open.
Coming from my job.
AI is coming for everyone's jobs.
Yeah. As soon as he started saying Megatron, I was like, my brain went to that fusion cannon thing. I'm like, oh, that would be very interesting. Although, would it also destroy the whole? I don't know. Maybe the Sacred Ring helps harness it.
The fusion cannon that's not part of Megatron at this moment.
No, but it's messing with Optimus Prime's brain.
Is Megatron's arm messing with Prime's brain, or is Sparkplug in the Matrix messing with Prime's brain?
I guess that would be it. But
Could be both.
when that arm is finally connected back to Megatron, would that make some link up with this black hole? That I think that's very interesting, and who knows how long Megatron has not had his fusion cannon.
Yeah. Ant's theory is definitely interesting. I did not pick up on that, so that's definitely, as soon as he said it, it makes a lot of logical sense. So I can envision that being a path to the future, Transformers G.I. Joe Void Rivals big crossover thing. Whenever that
really
actually happens.
Played up that whole fusion cannon black hole thing.
Yeah.
Really in many other series.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that it's connected, but I don't think we would have an entire series of books dedicated to the black hole that powers Megatron's fusion cannon. I want to believe that they'll go somewhere along those lines, and maybe the black hole itself is somehow connected to the creation of Energon or the processing of it or something like that. And Megatron may have some ties to this as a whole. The fact that it was a part of his fusion cannon is really interesting, because I had forgotten about that. That is like a thing that's like locked away in the back of my mind that is completely useless information that I've never had to bring up ever. But it's really interesting that he, like, I noticed the I Still Function and thought, oh, it's a Megatron line, but it's not Megatron. Megatron's on Earth. Pfft, they're just doing that for lol. Here's a callback. It's an homage. Thank you. An homage. It's like, it's an homage to that thing everybody loves. But the fact that it's the black hole, and then you've got this thing making up the sacred ring that's a Cybertronian, and they have to keep the ring separate, and I would be interested to see how it connects to Cybertron as a whole and Cybertronians. And
there's that Goliath thing that was brought up.
Yeah.
That if the rings connect and stuff, it'll bring back Goliath. Is the word Goliath, like, could that mean something else?
What if the reason that the sacred ring is the way it is because of Megatron himself, and he created this to then create the fusion cannon weapon that would allow him to take over and win?
I mean, we do know, we have like several issues ago, we saw what was inside the black hole, which presumably is Goliath and looked like another planet-sized transformer of some sort. That was not Unicron. It did not have the silhouette of Unicron, but did look vaguely planet-shaped and had eyes. And if maybe that's Megatron somehow tapped into Goliath as his power source from inside the black hole.
I mean, it could be. We know that fusion cannon is one of the most dangerous weapons that any Transformer Cybertronian can wield. So it'd be interesting if we found out like this whole thing was just a ploy by Megatron to gain some kind of power, and he's trapped this stuff and put this whole thing in motion. So maybe it's not. I'd be curious to see how it all connects. That's really interesting and gives me a lot to think about. All right.
Daryl, you have any comments?
I mean, I don't know. I'd much rather them connect the Earth-based books before they connect the space and Earth book. I mean, none of them seem to be playing in the same time zone at this point. But I mean, I don't know. At this point in time, the black hole in the middle of the planet is as crazy of a theory as any. There's no other theory that's been put out there for anything really. So I mean, why not? But there's been no fiction ever that's really been focused on a particular character's weapon. So sure, why not do one now? I don't know. I mean, Megatron's functioning right now in the Transformers comic. He's awake. So Optimus has possession of the fusion cannon. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any hints of the connection between the two, as far as I can tell. Yeah, as far as there being some kind of a crossover or some kind of like story connection, I'd much rather them do a G.I. Joe Transformers connection or something like that, just to at least do at least connect two of the books before they do something crazy like the Void Rivals and Transformers connection.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're playing the long game. Just hoping that it all comes together the way that, where it makes sense.
Yep.
If it's any help, while it's not Goliant, there was a mention of Goliath, the living asteroid, in the Transformers Unicron trilogy. Might have something to do with it. Who knows?
And I do have a picture from issue 12 that I just found someone posted on TFW like back then. So this would be when Derek and Solia connected their little headstone thing.
They touched their tips.
It was this Cybertron planet looking thing, but then the part of it kind of turns and it's now aware of something. So that's all we got.
All right. Well, that's our review of Void Rivals number 16. Thanks to Ant for sending in that voice comment. And let's move on with some media news.
All right. First up in media news, Transformers Eternal War, the mobile game. We got a CAD design of what Starscream's going to look like. And surprise, it's going to look like Starscream. So, yeah. And he's got his null rays, and it's it's a F-15 fighter jet. And he's about, he looks like Starscream. So, yeah, if you want to take a look at that, I don't think we have any information on when the game's supposed to come out yet, but it's, the character designs look pretty cool. Up next, Transformers Animated, Energon, and Cybertron are going to be available for digital download purchase. So, finally, you can get... I don't want to say finally. Maybe you've been able to get them for a while now, but I know that for a long time you weren't able to get Animated Season 3. But you can now get all seasons of Transformers Animated 1, 2, and 3, Transformers Energon Seasons 1 and 2, and Transformers Cybertron, all 52 episodes of Season 1 available for digital download. And they are available on Amazon Prime. So
Apple has them. Yeah. Probably anywhere you can get them.
And as we talked about prior to recording, you can see them all on Tubi TV as well for free with commercials. So you can check that out. Next up, Transformers 1 is finding a second audience in streaming. And so I guess a website called Flix Patrol has mentioned that Transformers 1 has made it in the top 10 movies in the U.S. as of January 14th. That's on Paramount Plus, taking the number 8 spot. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. We all know it's good. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. It's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is it's pretty damn good. So, up next, Transformers 1 is nominated for Best Visual Effects. And that is, so it's Outstanding Visual Effects and Outstanding Environment in an Animated Feature. Yeah. I think that's those are the 2 categories. So yeah, it's been nominated in 2 categories. This is for what awards? Oh, the Effects Society, Visual Effects Society. Yeah. So there you go. So a whole awards dedicated to visual effects. It's nominated in 2 categories. So that's pretty awesome. All right. And last thing for media news, we've got a new stop motion series. This is Transformers 1. There are 2 new videos out. These are very short, but again, they are stop motion. They're made with the toys. There's going to be a bunch of them. There's going to be 14 of these things. So the first 2 have been released. The first one is called Energon Mine, and the second one is called Runaway Train. And you can see them both on YouTube right now. By the time this episode goes up, you'll probably be able to see the third one, which is called Battle Royale. They're very. I mean, they're fun. They're made with the toys. Jeremy's got one playing here on the screen. If you're watching the video, they're fine. They're not really going to expand on the lore of Transformers 1. They're just fun little couple-minute videos that take the characters and put them into kind of fun situations. So yeah, fun little stop-motion videos in the Transformers 1 universe. So check them out if you're into that. And like I said, there's going to be 14 of these things. So there's something to keep your Transformers 1 whistle wet. And that's it for media news.
All right, and we will finish up the show with some convention news.
Just one thing, convention news this week has TFCon LA has announced that Ron Friedman will be attending. The show is going to be March 7th through 9th, and he was writer and editor on G1 and was did the initial script on Transformers the movie, and he also worked on G.I. Joe, so he will be there, and be sure to check him out if you're going. And I think that is...
I want to mention one thing about TFCon Los Angeles. There's been a lot of discussion in a lot of forums recently about TFCon Los Angeles because it's in March, and here we are in January, and whether or not it's going to be canceled. As the organizers of TFCon have posted and saying there is no plans to cancel right now, that the TFCon hotel is in Burbank, and it is as of right now, it is nowhere near any of the fires. So our hearts go out to anybody who's been affected. But there's no reason to cancel the TFCon show in March. So
I think they said the place where they're going to have it had something like this last weekend. I mean, the facility is not canceling events.
No, the facility is still going on. And if you look at a map of where the fires are and where Burbank is, it's right in the middle of all of them. Like, they're all spread out around, right? And Burbank's right in the center. So it's nowhere near any of the fires. I mean, obviously, if you're there and the fires are still going in March, then it's insane. But I mean, as of right now, the air would be pretty smoky right now. But but yeah, there's no plans to cancel. So I would be buying my tickets with confidence that the show will be going on. And this last guest, Ron Friedman, I know that he's had some health concerns recently. So if you're looking forward to seeing him or meeting Mr. Friedman, I would make the trek. He's a very interesting man to talk to. So get out there and check out TFCon LA.
Yeah, and the TFCon LA website, they say they'll have the full guest signing schedule prior to the event. So a lot of these people are going to be there just for specific times for signings, because in LA, a lot of these people don't have to travel, so they'll just come in for a signing and then leave. So we'll bring that up again, closer to March.
All right, that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. As always, thanks everyone for watching and listening. At the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, so that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John 4X11 Good and Steve C. You guys rock. You're awesome. Really appreciate it. Dr. Pants, we really appreciate you. Thanks again for hanging out this week. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Thank you as always for having me. It is always a pleasure to be here chatting with you guys. You can find me and my friends at Nerdstradamus doing that thing. The link tree is right here below my name if you're on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on podcast format, it's probably in the show notes. But most of our output is the Nerdstradamus channel on YouTube. So come check us out there. And you know what? I'll let you know. Currently, my friends and I are at MagFest. If you're there, come say hi. We're wandering around the show floor right now, and on Saturday we'll be there cosplaying, so try and find us.
Awesome.
Cool.
What will you be cosplaying as?
There are 4 of us. We will be Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi.
Nice.
Awesome.
And MagFest, isn't that where... Oh, no, it's MegaCon. Never mind. Dang it.
Yeah.
The HasLab is going to be rebuilt. I was like, oh, man.
But Cybertronic Spree is putting on 2 shows at MagFest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So I'm hoping to get a chance to at least see them and get a picture with them, but we'll see how that goes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.